So what I want you to imagine is, if you're a big NFL fan, having the opportunity to sit down and talk with Aaron Rodgers, or if you're a big baseball fan, sitting down with Shohei Ohtani, Albert Pujols, Mike Trout, which are all Angels. That was weird. NHL, Wayne Gretzky, you get the point. All these MVP, best in their class, high caliber athletes. So the context in bowling for that is exactly what this podcast is, and I can't believe that I was able to actually have the opportunity to do it, and how cool he was about it too. So on this podcast, I actually sit down with EJ Tackett, who was the 2016 Player of the Year. He is widely considered one of the best bowlers in the world. He has 14 titles, including a couple majors. Definitely on his way to a sure bet to be in the PBA Hall of Fame. And he literally was one of the coolest people I've ever talked to, because he didn't use his stature in any sort of weird way. It's just a bowler talking to another bowler and just loving the sport. So I really hope you guys enjoy this one. This is 10 Pin Life Podcast number 5 with EJ Tackett.
The idea behind the entire channel of 10 Pin Life and like why I'm going on this adventure is I know at least third hand that it takes a ton to live a life in bowling in any aspect, whether you run a pro shop or you own a bowling center or you're a professional bowler, and I'm using those 3 examples specifically. It takes way more than I think a lot of people realize. A lot of people haven't been able to see necessarily what it takes. And you do all 3, if I know correctly.
Kind of.
Yeah, because there's...
my parents own the bowling center, but...
Yeah, but you're there.
I'm there.
Is the tour experience is not in that bowling center, though, is it?
No, it's not. So
Okay.
Ronnie Russell and I, we have 2 pro shops, both in Indianapolis. One's in Fishers, but still Indianapolis. Inside Pinheads in Fishers, and then All-Star Bowl in Indianapolis. So we have 2 pro shops right now.
Yeah, and you guys just got I can't remember his name.
Mike Devaney.
Mike Devaney.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's running the shop at All-Star.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So.
That's a big grab. Mike's a smart dude.
He is very intelligent.
Yeah.
He actually moved to Indianapolis almost a year ago now. I think it was last March. It had nothing to do with us. He'd been in California for a while. Mm-hmm. He moved to Vegas. He was there for not very long, and living in Vegas, I personally don't think I would like it.
No.
I like to visit Vegas. About 3 days is about, I think, perfect.
Yep.
Or maybe 4. A long weekend is okay, but after that, it becomes redundant to me.
For sure.
But and obviously California is very expensive to live in.
Yeah.
And
that's crazy.
And so he decided to come to the Midwest, which bowling's huge here, obviously. Mm-hmm. And it worked out. We had just bought the first pro shop at Pinheads about 2 months before he moved. And then we were on tour. He ended up helping us in that shop, filling in and working for us there. And then when we were able to buy the other shop, it just made perfect sense to have him, full time in that one. Since we're going to be gone. And Ronnie does a lot of work at Pinheads. Obviously, I live an hour and a half away, so I'm not there as much as they are. I still come in a couple of times a week. I've been working at All-Star a lot more, just because the volume in that shop's a little bit higher, and we need 2 people there a lot of the time.
That's a great problem to have.
It is a good problem to have. And it's actually Mark Sullivan that bowls. He bowls on the senior tour. He was the previous owner of the pro shop.
Okay.
And he sold it because he had too much business.
Just couldn't handle it.
He wanted to work, or he wanted to bowl more.
Yeah.
So he decided to, get out of that particular pro shop because he wanted a little bit more freedom. A lot of people initially thought we kind of like pushed him out, but it was actually the opposite. He wanted somebody to come in and buy it from him, so that way he did have more time. He still has a pro shop. He went to another shop in the area, and sometimes you just got to do what you got to do, and
for sure,
it worked out for us.
Nice. So, I'm really just kind of curious about like what a day in EJ Tackett's life looks like, to be frank, because I don't know. Number one, and I just kind of talked to Tom and AJ about this, where it's like so few people have any understanding of what it takes to actually be a professional bowler. But for yourself, I think that by your own success, like there's, I don't know if you feel pressure, if it's even real to you, but it's like, you know, you're kind of like MVP caliber type bowler at this point. What does it take to, what do you do every day to essentially stay up to the standard that you've set for yourself?
Yeah, one thing, so the last couple of months, you know, one thing I like to do in the off season is take a break.
Yeah.
You know, it's mentally exhausting what we do, right? We're doing it all year long, just about. And I know it's the same in any sport. You know, you go through your season and you need time off, and in our sport's not any different.
Yeah.
You need some guys need physical time off, some guys need mental time off. I'm more on the mental side of things to stay, you know, level-headed and things like that. So I'm more taking some time off for the mental aspect of the game. You know, about a month ago, I got practicing again and getting ready. And I'm not a go practice every single day. Most days, might take a day or two off a week, but and I don't practice for a long time either. I have a specific thing. I go in the bowling center. This is what I want to accomplish today, and when I accomplish that, I go home. And that's part of the mental thing for me, that I go do exactly what I want and need to do, and then I go home. And I think that everybody's different. You know, everybody's got a different formula.
Yep.
And that's just what works for me.
Yeah.
It took a long time to figure out, you know, the right thing, what I needed to do for myself to be as successful as I could be. So I don't spend a ton of time, you know, throwing shot. So that's just not who I am.
Yeah.
But I do have a purpose every time I come in. And sometimes it's 30 minutes, sometimes it's 2 hours. You know, it's whatever I feel necessary to accomplish that goal that I set when I came in.
How do you set that plan? Is that something that's like a day-to-day feel-based thing, or do you have a regimented program that you try to do, or how does that kind of work for you?
Yeah, it's I'm way on the feel side of things. I'm not technical at all.
Sure.
I try to keep as few amount of technicalities out of my game.
Yeah.
Or in my game, whatever.
Yeah. Yep.
As possible, because I don't want to go down that mental road, because you start thinking about it, and I think it deters from your natural ability being able to take over.
Yeah.
Because when you do get in those pressure situations, and you talked about it previously about pressure, obviously, yeah, I feel pressure all the time.
Yeah.
I get nervous.
Yeah.
The thing I tell people, I've backtrack a little bit. I've watched Tiger Woods my whole life.
Yeah.
And I believe it could have been him, could have been someone else that said, if you don't get nervous, you don't care. Right? So it's all about, some people are trying to I'm trying to not be nervous. Well, no, you can be nervous. It's fine. You just got to learn how to use that nervous energy in a positive way. Get it to work for you instead of against you. And that's one of the things I had to learn when I came out on tour. I made TV shows very early, which the bowling center we're sitting in right now is where I made my first show ever.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the
bowled
bear, right?
No, it was actually Wolf.
Okay.
The 32 footer.
Yep.
I made it here, but we bowled it in Wauwatosa.
Oh, that's right.
Because we bowled in three different.
People are so mad about switching center. Never mind. Sorry, I'm moving on.
So we bowled in 3 different centers. It was like that summer swing in 2013.
Yep, I remember that.
Which is cool. It's cool to be able to come back and
for sure.
bowl it. But for a long time, I didn't know how to get my body to work for me in those situations.
Yeah.
There's a lot of kids bowling now that they're getting exposed to TV very early. So they're having exposure to it. I never had it until that time. That was my first time ever.
Yeah.
Some people right away.
Yeah.
I wasn't one of those. I had a curve. I had a very long learning curve. It took me a couple of years. My first few shows, I didn't bowl very well. And then in 2015, I made the World Championship show. And I bowled not good at all. I led the World Championships.
Yep.
I was the only right-hander on the show.
Yeah, that was the one that Gary won, right?
Yes, and I didn't bowl good. But something happened on that show that when I switched balls towards the end of the game and I threw one shot, and saw what my ball did, a light bulb went off, and it clicked. Okay. 2 months later, I made the show at the TSC.
Mm-hmm.
To that point, it was the best physical game I had bowled on television. And I bowled Tom Doherty. He threw like the back 8 or something to beat me, but I bowled very good. I think I bowled like 220 or something, which at that time was the highest game I had bowled in a TV setting.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So I went home. I told my dad, because my dad's been my coach my whole life. I was like, Dad, the next time I'm on TV, I'm going to win. I figured it out.
So what was the thing that tipped over? Like, I knew that you always loved the Octane. Yeah. Like, you've loved that ball since it came out. And I was like, well, clearly he should have just been throwing that ball the whole time. But it wasn't the ball then. Because that, literally from a third person's perspective, it was just like, oh, EJ was just throwing the wrong ball. Shit, that sucks.
Yeah.
But what was the thing that tipped?
I figured out that just from my adrenaline getting higher, that when I was getting to the line, I was just hitting it so much harder than I was during qualifying.
Oh.
And what it was causing is causing the ball to pick up sooner.
Okay.
So I was using a bowling ball I was using all week,
Yep.
but now it's like picking up sooner, not hooking.
Yep.
So when I threw the ball with a smaller core and it did the same thing that the other ball did the whole week, I was like, oh, okay, I just, for now, until I can get control of all of this and bowl more normally, I just need to step down a ball and use a smaller core because I'm hitting it so much harder that that ball is going to pick up like the other one.
So you don't actually fight the energy then. It's just,
No,
okay, I know
again,
my ball's going to do something different.
Yeah, it was just using it and figuring out how to use it in a positive way. And I finally did. And now I've done it for so long. This is my 10th year on tour this year.
Has it really been that long?
Yeah, I know, it's crazy, isn't it?
Crazy.
And now, like, it's tamed back where I can actually, I have a little bit more feel when I'm on TV, where I can hit it harder, I can hit it, more of a normal shot.
Yep.
I still have the nerves there, but I've learned how to get control of it.
Sure.
So that concept doesn't always apply anymore, but it's been an evolution.
That's
right?
awesome.
So in the beginning, like I said, I told my dad, next time I'm on TV, I'm going to win. 6 months later, I made the show in Detroit, and I won.
And then wasn't it 6 months after that you won the world championship? Wasn't it that next year, or was that in 17?
No, that was the year I won Player of the Year.
16.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you won. Yeah, because you won in Detroit, and then you went to Reno.
Yeah, but earlier that year I had won one of the like the flow bowling type events.
Oh, yep.
In where was it? Somewhere in Illinois.
Oh yeah.
Somewhere up near Chicago.
Yep.
I won that, and then they had that team tournament that counted for a title that year.
Yep.
That myself, Ronnie Russell, Chris Loschetter, Rhino Page, and Marshall Kent were on.
That's right.
Yeah.
I forgot about
Hashtag.
that.
Team drink a lot.
No, there was. You guys. It was. Wasn't it America Rooster Illusion?
Yep.
Why do I remember that?
Because
it's a great
different.
name.
Exactly.
It's a great name.
Yeah. So we won that, and then
Did you win the Lucy that year too?
no.
Okay.
No, I won. So I won that tournament, the flow bowling event or whatever, that tournament in Detroit, and then I won the world championships.
Yeah.
So I had 4 wins that year.
Yeah.
And then I came out in 17. I won in Japan. I won the TSC, and then I won the first tour finals. And this is all before May. So I've already 3 wins in before May, and I'm like, man, I'm going to be able to win player of the year again.
Yeah.
Well, I showed up to the World Series. I had a terrible summer.
Oh, sure.
I got in a little funk over the summer, bowled horrendous. Showed up to the World Series, first 2 days, terrible again. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And I was talking to Brett Spangler, my tour rep, and he's like, dude, you're just like chicken winging it. So I'm like, okay, well, tomorrow when I come in, I'm giving up a day. I'm way out of the World Championships already.
Yep.
Yeah, I had to have to bowl unbelievable to even make it into match play.
Right.
Which I almost did.
Nice.
But I came in, I'm like, okay, my ball's going to be dead end over end today. I'm just got to get my arm back in the right spot. Well, did that. I think I might have even made the cut or been close to it. Next day on the, what pattern was it? Scorpion was the last pattern. I crowbar them, bowl a ton over. I ended up winning that one. But I knew coming to the World Series, I'm like, I have to win an event to even have a chance to win Player of the Year.
Yep.
Because at the time, Belmo had 3 wins and 2 of them were majors already.
Yep.
And but he ended up winning the World Championships that year.
Yep.
Because I beat him in the Scorpion, then he won the World Championship.
Yep.
So they gave him 3 majors and
That's hard to
another
beat.
win. And I mean, what do?
You just put you
I
just
just
got to
say-
give him you got to give credit where credit
absolutely.
is due.
I mean,
Yeah.
it was one of those things like, hey, I bowled as good as I could.
Yeah.
You know, I had a bad summer, but you know,
Yeah.
at least I came in here and was able to at least do something to make you have to do something. Had he not won the World Championships, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, the conversation would have been different because I would have had the most wins and I would have led money if he didn't win that.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I would have won or not. Who knows? We'll never know. But I had a good year, and it was one of the things too. Like the year after I won Player of the Year, it was like a personal vendetta that I didn't want anyone to ever think that it was a fluke.
Yeah.
That
for
it
sure.
happened. Even though when you win Player of the Year, it's not really a fluke to begin with. But in my mind, you know, before I came out on tour, there was a lot of people. My family's always supported me, but there was some people like, "Oh, you really think you can beat those guys?" Everybody you really think you can do this? You know, you're gonna lose money, and blah blah blah. So when I win Player of the Year, I'm like, I'm gonna prove to everyone that I am this good.
Yeah.
And 2017 was my best year.
Yeah.
It was even better than 2016.
Yeah. Which is crazy. It's just the other guy. I guess that's a good transition because one of the cool parts about me having my own channel is I can ask whatever questions I want. Does it ever weird you out that you're at the same level? Like, do you ever have like the out of body experience of like, I'm bowling at this, like I'm neck and neck with a guy who just culturally is considered the greatest bowler in the world. Does that ever weird you out, or is it that's just Jason? I just bowl with Belmo and we compete and
Yeah, I never really have it with like a person.
okay.
Maybe somebody like Norm, Pete, Walter, like
Sure.
legends.
Yeah.
Belmo's only been on tour a few years more than I have.
Right.
So
right.
I think at the end of my career, it'd be something I'll be able to look back on and say, you know, I got to bowl against Jason, no matter what he goes on to do. I have it more of, you know, where you're sitting at home and I just like, you know, sometimes it just kind of hits you that, man, I've won 14 times. Like,
right. Right.
you know, sometimes you just, you I don't want to say forget, but you kind of do that. Like, you know, you just live your life every day. And then sometimes it just hits you like, wow, I can't believe, you know, all those people told me I would never be here.
Right.
And then I go, you know, just look at my trophy case and it's like, wow.
That's awesome.
And
that's awesome.
it's kind of surreal sometimes to just all the places that I've been and all over this country and all over the world and been able to win. I mean, I won in Japan, so that's the only other country.
Twice, right?
Only once.
Just
I've
the
only
once?
won once there, but been Team USA and you know, gold medals a few times and all the things that I've been fortunate enough to do. And the people that I've got to meet along the way, you know, I got friends all over the world, which is awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome. Switching gears a little bit, it's a new season. You know, the race for Player of the Year this year starts tomorrow, essentially. What would you say, you know, if you had keys to success or things that you're focused on coming into this season, this event, anything? Is there anything specific that you're kind of pinpointing on?
I don't think I ever like pinpoint on one particular thing. Every event is so different.
Yeah.
That your mindset kind of has to be a little bit different every event you go into. Like this one, you know, we're bowling against our region really here. So the mindset of this event to like the tournament champion is going to be completely different. You know, you got a lot more stages to go through to get to the finals. Whereas at TOC, everybody's together, and the top 5 makes the show, and then you just have one step ladder.
Yep.
So. That'd be the only thing I would say about that is just you know, your mindset coming in has to be a little bit different based on you know, the format of the tournament, things like that. But I think the thing in general for me is just, you know, staying focused on what I'm doing. And I catch myself sometimes worrying about everybody else.
Oh, okay. Sure.
And it's the mental thing. We go back to the mental thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how physically good you are. If you don't have it up here, you're never going to be successful at anything.
Yeah.
Really.
Yep.
So that's kind of like, I need to just, focus more and, have more blinders on. And I think that's one thing that really separates Jason from a lot of other people is he's so good at just being focused on what he's doing, doesn't care what anybody else is doing. He just does his thing. And wherever that puts him at the end of the day, that's where it puts him.
Yeah.
But I think it's a great recipe for success is just being so focused on what you're doing.
Sure.
And not worry about everybody else so much.
Sure. That's awesome. I like I said, I don't want to take up too much of your time. We are at about 20 minutes here. So, thank you. Like, this has been amazing. Number one, this is not something that I ever thought I would ever get to do, especially 5 months into a YouTube channel. But, I think it's going to be a good week. I'm really curious to see if you remember anything about bowling here.
Honestly, when I drove up, I'm like, I don't remember coming here at all.
Yeah.
Which is weird because this is where I made my first show. You'd think
Right.
I'd really remember it, but I don't. I remember bowling Wauwatosa
Yeah.
because we
You spent a lot more time there,
We
though.
did. We bowled a lot more games there. We bowled the finals for that week. We
Mhm.
bowled the TV shows there.
Yep.
We bowled there last year for this
Oh,
event.
yep. That's right.
So I've bowled there much more. The games that I bowled here and made that show, that's the only games I've ever been in this building.
Yeah.
And I just don't.
I think that's a lot of guys. So few guys have actually bowled in this building.
Yeah.
That it'll be curious to see. Honestly, I'm just mostly curious to see how transition is.
Yeah.
Because it's a whole new place. I mean, everyone kind of knows how Bolero transitions. It's just a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it'll be cool. I'm excited to. Like I said, I'll be here all week. So hopefully I can be doing some interviews later when you're leading blocks too. So
Yeah, I hope so.
I hope so. But thank you very much, EJ. This
Yeah,
is
no
really
problem.
cool. And maybe we'll do it again sometime.
Yeah. Glad to anytime.
Awesome. Thanks, bud.